Sword of Orion, the 17th Doctor Who Big Finish audio release, first broadcast or released in 4 parts, essentially, and written by Nicholas Briggs, written and directed by Nicholas Briggs, and first released in February of 2001. The basic summary of the story: the human race is locked in deadly combat with the android hordes in the Orion system. Light years from the front line, the Doctor and Charlie arrive to sample the dubious delights of little galactic backwater, little suspecting that the consequences of the Orion War might reach them there. But High Command's lust for victory knows no bounds. Trapped aboard a mysterious derelict Star Destroyer, the Doctor and Charlie find themselves facing summary execution. But this is only the beginning of their troubles. The real danger has yet to awaken, until, somewhere in the dark recesses of the Garrison system, the Cybermen receive the call for reactivation. Now, this story, I'll admit, it is actually pretty good. I don't know if it's necessarily as strong as some of the other Big Finish audio dramas that I've listened to so far. I mean, I think Spare Parts was a bit of a bad place to start, because that one was so good that it does honestly mean that other Cybermen stories in here might seem a little, not necessarily mediocre, but just might not be as good as I started with the best. Anyway, you got the Doctor, once again voiced by Paul McGann, and his companion Charlie Pollard, voiced by India Fisher. But as well as that, you've also got a cracking supporting cast. I mean, the 8th Doctor and Charlie already, they're a great team, and they honestly have great chemistry. But, as I said, you got a great supporting cast, including Grash, voiced by Bruce Montague, who sadly passed away in August earlier this year. You got Diva Jansen, the captain of the Vanguard, who's voiced by Michelle Livingston and is proven to be an android, I think, by the end. Sorry, spoilers. You got Chev, voiced by Helen Goldwyn, Ike, voiced by Ian Marr, Vol, voiced by Hilton Collins, Digley, voiced by Barnaby Edwards, Kelsey, voiced by Toby Longworth, Tinez, voiced by Mark Gatiss, who of course would later go on to write for Doctor Who and also appear as characters in Doctor Who 3 times. And you've of course got Nicholas Briggs and Alistair Locke as the Cybermen. Now this was apparently a big deal for 2 reasons. Well, 3 actually. But number 1, this was actually the first Big Finish story to feature the Cybermen. Okay, tick number 1, that works. Secondly, this was actually the first story to have the 8th Doctor face off against the Cybermen. Okay, tick 2. And actually this, I believe, would be the first time that Nicholas Briggs will actually get to voice the Cybermen. So yeah, that's tick 3. I mean, this was February 2001, so the Cybermen wouldn't be reintroduced to Doctor Who visual audiences until 2006, so it's great to have Nicholas Briggs voicing the Cybermen. I mean, of course, he's not alone here. He's got Alistair Locke also voicing the Cybermen. But, you know what? Both of them work well, and it does actually provide a nice, good story. I mean, essentially what they're trying to do is there's a big war being fought between humanoids and androids off in the Orion system. At least that's what I understand. And Captain Jansen essentially wants to bring in the Cybermen to help them defeat the androids. Only the Cybermen, once they arrive, go, no, we don't want to defeat just the androids. We want to defeat everyone. We want to convert them or kill them. Now, there are 2 different covers for this story that I've seen, which kind of denote which version of the Cybermen that currently are involved with the story. There's one that used the Cybermen that were classic in the 80s, getting introduced with stuff like Silver Nemesis and Earthshock and the like, or there's the one from like the late 60s and early 70s, stories like The Invasion or Revenge of the Cybermen. And while you could choose yourself which incarnation of the Cybermen you want to be involved in this story, since it is an audio story, I personally do prefer the ones from the late 60s and early 70s more. Just, there's nothing wrong with the Cybermen used in the 80s. If you like them, that's fair enough. The only reason why I was never particularly that keen on the design, at least visually, at least in the actual episodes, was the kind of small mouth guard where you can see their mouth moving up and down. I just was personally never that keen on it because it always just felt to me like, okay, we can't really afford it, so just have the actor's mouth underneath. And I always just like not seeing the actor's mouth, purely because I thought it made Cybermen seem a lot more kind of cold and mechanical if you don't see the human parts underneath, if you just see the machinery. But anyway, that's a personal thing. And while I do think that I started off bad by listening to a really good Cybermen story, Spare Parts, when I first started listening to Doctor Who audio stories, this is actually a pretty good one. I mean, just having the Doctor and Charlie separated from the TARDIS and trying to find a way back there through these crashed spaceships and spaceship debris, it does provide some good action, some good tension. Also, when they find out ultimately all the twists and turns with the androids and the Cybermen, I think they do it well. So overall, while I wouldn't say that Sword of Orion is the best Doctor Who story, I can't help but like it, because it is a Doctor Who audio adventure, it's got all the cast that you love, and also I'm a bit of a sucker for the Cybermen. I love a good Cyberman story, and this one, while it's not the best, I'd say it's pretty decent. Anyway, have a listen for yourself and make your own decision. Sword of Orion, I give it a thumbs up. Anyway, what'll be my next classic Doctor Who Big Finish audio story that I listen to? Honestly, at this point, no idea. I'll have to wait and see. Until next time, allez hop!